Hey guys, welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Andre Seegers, and this time we're joined by Derek Binder and special guest Trailer Drake from The Game Theorist to discuss Nintendo teasing an E3 announcement coming tomorrow. So let's get started. Alright guys, so Nintendo just tweeted out something in Facebook and probably all social media, something. They basically said they have plans for E3 that they're announcing tomorrow, and attached to that announcement is a picture of someone wearing Lil Mac's, or what looks to be Lil Mac's, what is it, his workout outfit?
His pink sweats.
Yeah, his pink sweats, yeah. Which is pretty interesting. So I thought, let's talk about this. There's not much to talk about yet, so we'll be back tomorrow when they give the full news, of course. But it seems like they may be teasing a PunchOut thing here. Of course, it's probably nothing, but when's that ever stopped us? And of course, we'll touch on the potential other E3 announcements too. So what do you guys think?
I think you're reading too much into it, Andre. It is clearly just a Punch-Out costume that you swipe from swiping your amiibo on Mario Kart.
Oh.
I mean, what's Next Level Games been up to? They haven't really done anything since
Dark Moon.
Dark Moon,
yeah.
So not a bad idea to have them return to Punch-Out and get a brand new game out there for the Wii U, and honestly, that'd be freaking awesome.
Little Mac's a big name now.
Yeah, that's true, and I think Punch-Out just visually looked amazing on Wii.
Yes.
It still looks good.
Right? And seeing that on the Wii U would be fantastic in HD. So I wonder, though, do you think they would, if there is another Punch-Out, do you think they would model it after Super Punch-Out then? You know, like how Punch-Out Wii was modeled after the NES original?
I better not. Like, I liked Super Punch-Out a lot, but it was just so different from the rest.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the redheaded stepchild, you know?
I don't actually, but I never actually played Super Punch-Out.
Oh.
Same here.
Okay then, well.
The only Punch-Out game I've ever played is the Wii one, but I really enjoyed it, and the only common complaint I heard is that they used too many of the classic fighters, which is great because you haven't had it in a while, but a lot of people wanted to see more original fighters, and that's sort of my big hope for a new Punch-Out game. Put in some new fighters, really challenge people to learn some new moves and whatnot, maybe expand a few things here and there. I think there's a lot they could do to really make this a really fun sequel to Punch-Out Wii. If
there's one thing Next Level Games does extremely well, it's characters. Like, showing their personalities. You know, we've had they made Mario Strikers, which of course has the infamous Waluigi taunt.
Yeah.
They did Luigi's Mansion, Dark Moon, where Luigi, you know, he's already a very personable guy, and they made him even more so in that game. And then Punch-Out had a cast of amazing characters, but they only had one brand new one in that game. Although he was great. And I would love to see more. I would love to see more of the originality come through. Like if they have a whole cast of brand new characters, I think they could be amazing. And I would be super eager to see what brand new borderline offensive stereotypes they can come up with.
Well, okay, honestly, I think they use stereotypes to their advantage because they're not being malicious with the stereotypes, but instead, like they're really overly cheesing it up to give the characters that much more personality. Like, every character had their own unique thing. And, sure, a lot of it is grounded in stereotypes, but, I mean, it makes the characters instantly recognizable to all of us that know stereotypes.
I really think Next Level could do something just incredible with a new Punch-Out, because really Next Level has become, like, they've sort of been under the radar for a while now, where they've been good, but nobody's really taken notice. And I think people are finally starting to take notice and see what these guys are capable of.
So it sounds like we would all like to see another Punch-Out game. What do you think the plausibility of this, though, is?
I think it's really high. I mean, they made Lil Mac into a really big deal when announcing him for Smash for Wii U and 3DS. And if you watch the reaction videos to him being announced, people were excited. Like, I'm honestly really surprised of how many people were excited, myself included, because I've loved Punch-Out ever since the first one. I still can't beat Mike Tyson, and it sucks. But
actually, real quick side story. I have a friend that goes through that game literally every year just to make sure he still has it. Like he can destroy Mike Tyson, and he wants to prove it to himself every year just to make sure he's not too old for games quite yet.
Jeez, because Mike Tyson is hard. Yeah. One of the hardest boss battles. But love Punch-Out. I main Little Mac. I have the Little Mac amiibo, which costs $50,000 at this point. But that's a sought after amiibo. People are really liking him. I just think that, Punch-Out, if it has been more popular. Oh, and also they brought back Punch-Out Wii for the Virtual Console. For the
Wii U. That's true.
That was one of the first ones,
That's
yeah. So, outside of whenever Punch-Out first came out back in the day for the NES, I don't think that it's been any more popular.
Yeah, you're probably correct there. Everybody just sort of immediately loved Little Mac, and I think Little Mac was one of those characters, as soon as they saw him as an assist trophy in Brawl, I think he was probably the most requested in-house Nintendo character to be put into the next Smash Brothers game, because he just makes so much sense. He's a fighter. He's, all about fist fighting and whatnot, so it makes sense to get him in there and to have him in there and make him, he became a very popular choice just because of how powerful he was. Not exactly being able to use the greatest by a lot of people, but he was still a very popular choice. And Nintendo has to recognize that, sort of the same way how the Fire Emblem characters became really popular in Melee. So Smash does work well as a barometer. Like, how popular are these characters? How popular can we make these characters? And let's take advantage of that.
Yeah, it would make sense. I mean, Nintendo has, it seems like they're doing a better job of using their IP to cross-promote each other recently. I mean, that's largely due to the Amiibo. But it would make sense to capitalize on Little Mac's popularity now. And as you said before, we don't know what Next Level Games is up to, so this would make sense. With all that being said, as much as I would like to see a new Punch-Out, I'm going to throw it out there, and this is just a minor thought. Like, I'm going to be super excited for a new Punch-Out. I kind of wish or hope that they are doing something else too. Like,
they're going to.
From Next Level Games specifically, I mean.
Oh, okay, from Next Level Games. Okay, I thought you were talking about the E3 announcement. Like, well, they better be talking about.
Oh yeah. No, they definitely are. We'll get to that. I mean, I will be happy with a new Punch-Out. I'm sure I'll love it. I'm sure I'll forget what I'm saying right now once they announce it. With that said, like, I would love to see something entirely new from Next Level Games.
I want to see them work on my dream game.
What's that?
What's your dream game?
My dream game is a F-Zero Metroid crossover where you're playing as Captain Falcon and Samus, and they're both after the same bounty. And you have two separate campaigns that intersect with each other, kind of like Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. And then they both play differently, where Captain Falcon is a beat-em-up, and Samus is a third-person shooter.
Wow.
Wow, that's in-depth.
No, but I think that would be a really fun, awesome game.
That actually sounds pretty epic. Could you imagine? Yeah. Could you imagine the threads that would spawn if they made that game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it'd be huge.
I do agree with you though. It'd be cool to do you want to see Next Level do their own IP, or do you want to see them take on a different IP than Punch-Out or Luigi?
That's a good one. Either or. I mean, I guess it would be cool to see anything, a brand new one from them. With that said, they've done a fantastic job working with existing IP. So I mean, I'd be happy either way.
Oh, they did have that concept art of a Metroid game that they were working on that essentially got canceled after a while.
Yeah, the Super Polygon one.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing them take on Metroid as well, because I like that concept art. It was a very different looking Samus, and I was like, okay, I kind of want to see where they're going with this, because as we've established, they're really good at giving characters personality, and Samus needs a new personality after Other M.
Yeah, that's true. But I think they work better with comic personalities. So I'm not sure if Metroid would be a great fit for them. But with that said, Nintendo has been teasing Metroid as well. Like, Reggie was wearing that Metroid pin when they had the Tropical Freeze trailer at the Game Awards.
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago, right? Exactly. It's been a little while, but...
plenty of time to have something to show off.
That's true. Do you think it's possible they are just screwing with us?
Oh, definitely.
Right. It's, again, maybe it goes back to that Metroid pin. Maybe it meant nothing at all. Now, who do you think is wearing that robe or that Punch-Out outfit?
I want to say Reggie.
Mike Tyson.
Do you see Mike Tyson? Wow.
I don't think Nintendo would do that.
No.
No, I have to say it's totally Reggie.
It seems like it would be Reggie. And speaking of Reggie, so the other big part of this, of course, is the part we haven't really even talked about. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time, they are announcing their plans for E3. So what it sounds like they're doing is they're probably going to do something along the lines of what they did last year, where they had a video, in that case it was a Mega 64 video, laying out their entire plans for E3, which is when we found out about their digital event, found out about the live Treehouse stream, which went for all 3 days, I think all 3 days of E3, and the Smash Brothers Invitational. So this could be huge freaking news tomorrow. So far, we don't really know of anyone's E3 plans. Nintendo has said nothing about it. And they're going to lay out, it sounds like they're going to lay out their cars tomorrow. So I really am just hoping for the Mega 64 video, because I thought that was amazing last year.
I agree.
It was a great way to just show Nintendo, having fun with it all. Between Mega 64 and the whole Robot Chicken thing, like, they really stood out as far as just having fun with E3 last year. And even the Treehouse event, people raved about that. I'd be shocked if the Treehouse does not show up to E3 again and just have them constantly showing off their games, because people watching from home, they would just, I think that drew in a ton of people, just seeing these games demonstrated, seeing what they can do. I'd be shocked if they don't do it again.
They work so well because Nintendo actually shows gameplay. And not just, they showed their fair share of pre-rendered CG trailers, but they actually know that it's about games first and foremost, and they're not afraid to show off their games.
It's a nice change, right? You actually get to see games at E3.
What?
I know, it's weird. So do you guys think they'll do the same thing they did last year, with a digital event instead of a live press conference followed by their own live stream? Because it seems like for Nintendo, it seems like that worked really well for them last year. Like, they found their own.
It'd be stupid if they didn't.
Right? They kind of found their own niche. Like, as far as I can tell, the Direct seemed to be a success, at least for the people who watched it, which is a big step up from some of their press conferences in years past.
People just, I think, very early on, I think everybody declared Nintendo won last E3 just because they did so much. They interacted with the fans so much. They focused on the games. They showed off. They had fun with it. And it'd be crazy to think that they would step away from that. We're like, we had this really successful thing. Let's go do something else now. It makes no sense not to continue with that.
Right.
I mean, they just really, really sold it last year. They brought their A game. One cool thing about the digital event is that they can do more with it. You can have cool visual effects. You can still bring on special guests and stuff for the digital event. It's also rehearsed, and you can take out any flubs, so you won't have any of those classic failures we saw from the other press conferences that year. Mm-hmm. They were really able to make it a streamlined event to announce all their big titles.
That is a good point. It allows them to make a really polished presentation, which is something that they've been doing more and more with all their directs in the last few years. Because the biggest problem they've run into, or I guess one of the problems, is that they sometimes had some technical difficulty during their press conferences. Most recently, I think, with Skyward Sword, where the controller just freaked out during the presentation. Which, of course, wasn't... Well, I guess some might argue that's representative of the final game. I would not. I do think the digital event makes the most sense for Nintendo. And especially the way they infused it with their humor and their charm. Nintendo's been kind of embracing this more playful tone recently. And they've always been a playful company, but even more so recently. And I think focusing entirely on that at E3 is fantastic. Instead of subjecting us to, some marketing guy coming out talking about their sales figures and numbers, which is how it used to be. They used, every conference used to have that segment where they come out and I think some of them still do, where they come out and brag about how great they're doing and, how many consoles they've sold.
And that's funny. I think we've already seen signs that Nintendo is going to continue to do that, where they're sticking with the playful side, because they've already said they're not going to be talking about the NX. They're not going to be talking about any mobile games. They're not going to be talking about any of their exercise or life quality of life stuff. This is still focused mainly on Wii U and 3DS games. There's no other, they're not focusing on any of these other side projects they've had in the works. So that shows me a focused Nintendo that wants to use E3 for what E3 is for, is what's showing off games.
Right.
Good, I don't want another one of those awkward segments where we're now introducing the vitality sensor. Let me go on about that for 20 minutes, and we're not even going to release it.
It really seems like Nintendo has learned a lot, across the board. Mm-hmm. They've been making a lot of changes recently, and I think if you want to pinpoint a time, it may have been last E3 where we started, that may have been the first sign of change internally with how they handle things. Because we've been seeing a bunch of changes with Nintendo. And I really don't think... I can't think of a time that's been more exciting to be a Nintendo fan, honestly. I think it's about time to wrap it up here. So do you guys have any final thoughts about anything related to this, or any hopes or dreams you have coming tomorrow for things we might find out?
I don't think they'll say about any games they're going to have. I think this is mainly a tease about how they're going to announce their upcoming, how they're going to be handling E3. I don't expect to see any games or anything like that from this presentation. Maybe hints of some, but I think it's going to be maybe like, okay, we had Robot Reggie last year, now we're going to have PunchOut Reggie this year, and that's how we're going to go from this, and that's how they're going to show all this stuff off. So I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see this presentation. I really hope Mega 64 is part of it. It could be a lot of fun.
I can't wait to see them tease Star Fox because we know it's going to happen.
That's actually a good one. I could see them teasing something, because last year we did get the, the whole Smash Invitational announcement, which, I mean, didn't show any gameplay or anything. But I could see them doing something along those lines. Some kind of, like, hook into one of their upcoming games. Maybe a Mario Maker thing, right? Like, maybe whoever designs the most brutal level at E3 or something.
You would totally try to win that, Andre.
Oh, would I ever? Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like I think there'll be at least one thing of substance there. We'll see. I don't know what it'll be about. I do think it'd be about a game we already know about. So maybe Star Fox, maybe Mario Maker. Maybe they'll further tease PunchOut. Who knows? So, alright, well, I think that about wraps up for us here. Thanks for watching. And of course, if you liked our discussion, make sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain, which you can find links to in the description below. It's a good way to keep up to date on everything we post. And Trailer Drake, good sir, do you want to tell people where they can find you at?
Well, if you, the audience out there, think you can handle more of my winning personality, you can always go to my personal channel at www.trailerdrake.com, or it'll probably be in the description, or you can always follow me on Twitter at TrailerDrake.
And of course, keep an eye on GameXplain.com for more on this very announcement once they talk more about it tomorrow, and other things gaming as well. Alright, thanks guys. Bye.